Good afternoon and welcome to our last meeting in September. We appreciate everybody being in our council chambers and those of you watching us on our Electric City Television. Invocation tonight will be given by Councilmember Tony Stewart and respects to the flags. She just came in. Will be led by Dr. B. Thompson. Please rise.
Let us pray. God and Father of all, in your love you made all the nations of this world to be a family, and you taught us all to love one another. Yet while our world is riven apart with prejudice, arrogance, and pride, help us understand the different races and cultures and to love and understand one another better. Increase among us sympathy, tolerance, and goodwill that we may learn to appreciate the gifts that other races and cultures bring to us. Please keep us from jealousy, hatred, and fear, and help us live together as members of one family in this world and sons and daughters of one Father. All these things we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the body of our meeting, we have some special recognitions, and for the police department, I'm going to ask Chief Stewart to come down and lead us in that. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. We always appreciate the occasion where we can promote from within our own department here. Tonight we have two candidates, and as I bring them down, I'll tell you a little bit about them. First one is Sergeant Jamie Brock. Sergeant Brock is a certified law enforcement officer since October 8, 2010. He's been awarded the Good Conduct Medal in 2012, promoted to Corporal on July 28th in 2014. He's also completed first line supervision, our FTO program. He enjoys serving the citizens of Anderson as exemplary officer through his leadership. He will serve on the cops team as one of our traffic sergeants. And Sergeant Brock, I believe you have somebody here tonight.
I have a mother, my father, wife, and young son.
Thank you for being here. Corporal Matthew Anderson. Corporal Anderson has been with the police department since 2012. He has his bachelor's and master's degree in criminology from Appalachian State University and is currently assigned to our criminal investigative division as a detective. He specializes in our white collar crime unit. Jim, if you could step up here. Jim, if you raise your right hand, repeat after me. I.
Sergeant Brock. Sergeant Corporal Matt Anderson.
With the City of Anderson Police Department.
With the City of Anderson Police Department.
Will equally, fairly, and impartially.
Will equally, fairly, and impartially.
To the best of my ability and skill.
To the best of my ability and skill.
Exercise the trust reposed in me.
Exercise the trust reposed. Peace.
And to carry into effect.
And carry into effect.
According to law.
According to law.
The purpose for which I have been elected.
The purpose for which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Right there, Sergeant.
You have anybody here with you tonight?
Do you like to have everybody? She's my wife. She gets a number. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Now the fire department. You guys are all here, and we appreciate you being here, both you, the police and the fire. I'm going to ask Chief Bratcher to come up with his wife. You know, sometimes we get so busy, and the chief was doing such a good job at being the interim chief, we kind of forgot to recognize him. So, but it was a seamless transition from leadership, and we appreciate the job that he's done. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and do the oath of office, and I think his wife Miriam is going to have a role in this too. So I,
Randall Bratcher,
do solemnly swear to do my duty
do solemnly swear to do my duty
as a city firefighter
as a city firefighter
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the city of Anderson
to serve the citizens of the city of Anderson
with
and to uphold the law,
rules
rules,
and regulations
and regulations
of the United States of America,
of the United States of
the
America,
state of South Carolina,
the state of South
and
Carolina,
the city of Anderson.
the city of Anderson.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Turn it over to you, Chief.
I'm going to ask now that the new officers promoted will come down. We have two new assistant chiefs, Michael Guest and Adam Zenoni. We have battalion chiefs being promoted, Ron Branyon, Jamie Parnell, captain being promoted, Joey Burdette, lieutenants, Michael Hobbs and Ryan Herring, and Sergeant Richie Earle. And to give you just a little bit about, I appreciate the time. This is a little lengthy, but Mr. Mayor, Council, City Administration, I thank you. Michael Guest came to the City Fire Department in 1995. He started in Honea as a volunteer in 1988. Michael graduated Greenville Technical College with an associate's degree in public service in 94, the University of Memphis, and ended up with a bachelor's degree, fire administration in 2003 from Columbia Southern University, and a master's degree in 2015. And he also attended Texas A&M University with a degree in fire science, chief executive officer. Assistant Chief Zenoni has been with the fire department since 1993. He started his fire service career at the County Fire Department in Center Rock in 1987. Assistant Chief Zenoni graduated Columbia Southern University, associate's degree in fire science, and he's been promoted through the ranks also from engineer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, battalion chief, and now to assistant chief. He's also a member of the Upstate Incident Management Team and an assistant coordinator with the Technical Rescue Team. Branyon being promoted to the rank of battalion chief. He has been with the city fire department since 2002. He started his fire service career as a volunteer with the Flat Rock Bowen Fire Department in 1996. He was promoted through the ranks. He is also a reserve officer with the city police department, and he is also on our arson task force. Jamie Parnell being promoted to the rank of battalion chief. He has been with the city fire department since 2001. He also started a fire service career as a volunteer with the Creightonville Fire Department in 1990. And Battalion Chief Parnell graduated Belton Honeypath High School in 1991, Clemson University in 1995 with a BS degree, and he has also been promoted through the ranks of the fire department. Joey Burdette being promoted to the rank of captain, came to work for the fire department in 2002. He is a 1998 graduate of Westside High School and has come through the ranks and also gained his firefighting experience through the South Carolina Fire Academy. Ryan Herring being promoted to the rank of lieutenant, has been with the fire department since 2004. He is a graduate of Westside High School and has come through the ranks. He is the coordinator of the technical rescue team. Michael Hobbs being promoted to the rank of lieutenant, has been with the fire department since 2002. He also has previous firefighting experience with the Flat Rock Bowen Fire Department, where he served as chief for 10 years and attended a 2000 graduate of Crescent High School. We have Richie Earle, who is being promoted to the rank of sergeant. He has been with the fire department since 2011, and he has previous firefighting experience with the Center Rock Volunteer Fire Department. And also Richie Earle is a member of the Honor Guard.
Congratulations.
This time, I'd like to congratulate all these guys for their accomplishments at this time.
Just turn and shake. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on.
We appreciate you.
At this time, we have Gabriel Walker, we have Reese Shaw, and Dusty Morgan. Do solemnly swear. To do my duties as an Anderson City firefighter. To the best of my ability. To serve my commanding officers. With respect. With compassion. Courage. And integrity. And to uphold the laws. Rules. And regulations. Of the United States of America. State of South Carolina. And the citizens of Anderson. So help me God.
I guess you have one. Kind of empty that, is it?
The minutes of our August 28th meeting were distributed. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Not hearing any, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have first by Mr. Newton, second by Mr. Roberts, Buck Roberts. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The minutes of August 28th passed unanimously. We don't have any old business, so we'll jump directly into our new business. And our first item of new business is request consideration of a contract with Woolpert for SMS4 Compliance and development of total maximum daily limits, better known as TMDL, implementation plans. Ms. McConnell.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to try to put a little user-friendly verbiage to this. This is really all about the Clean Water Act. It's about our water quality and really ensuring that what we discharge in terms of our stormwater and that goes into our creeks and streams, that what we discharge, this is all about what we discharge, how we monitor it, how we report it, and abiding by the mandates of the South Carolina DHEC. We have a permit that tells us exactly how we have to go about this, and we have been systematically following those plans that we've adopted. I'd like to ask our stormwater manager, Adam Cromer, if he'd come forward and tell you a little bit more about what this proposed contract is.
Thank you, Ms. McCollum, Mr. Mayor and Council. This item for your consideration tonight is a continuation of our TMDL monitoring and assessment plans for the Rocky River and Big Generosity Creek watersheds that began in 2014. For the past 2 years, we've been conducting in-stream monitoring of stormwater runoff in these watersheds for bacteria and turbidity. This contract is a continuation of the in-stream monitoring, the maintenance of equipment at our monitoring station, and includes the development of a TMDL implementation plan for these two watersheds. The TMDL implementation plan, what we'll be doing is reviewing the data that's been collected in the past 2 years and identifying trends in that data, prioritizing the areas that will be targeted, and determining cost-effective ways to target bacteria in our streams to meet minimum DHEC and EPA requirements. So we reviewed the scope of services and recommend approval of the contract not to exceed $29,000.
Thank you, Adam. Any comments or questions? It appears that it's a continuation of where we've been since 2014 and nothing's really changed. Good.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Motion that we approve this. Second.
First by Mr. Harbin, second by Dr. Thompson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Our next item is request consideration of a linen contract with ALSCO for the detention center. Ms. McConnell.
Anytime you're in the detention center business, there are certain things that I think we may take for granted, but certainly as Captain Carpenter and Chief Stewart can tell you, this is one of those things that the detention center wouldn't operate, and certainly wouldn't operate properly if we didn't have a contract for linen services. I'd like to ask Captain Carpenter and Chief Stewart to come forward, and they'll share with you the fact that this you are approving a contract for a specific amount of money, but as you've seen before, contracts for meal service, contract for medical service fluctuate based upon the population in the detention center. So you'll see some language to that effect as they go through the details of this proposal.
Yes, Ms. McConnell. As you'll see in the council agenda, we have been with this company, ALSCO, for over 10 years now. They have always been the sole source on this, and we've been very satisfied with them. It's always a delivery on time and a pickup on time. The cost is better for the city sending this out than us trying to do it in-house. Currently in the detention center, we do launder all the blankets, towels, and uniforms. And that is almost a full-time job right there for one of our trustees and also whoever's on our work release program through the city. You'll see the cost for this year estimated $14,136, and the actual cost was $11,153.44, and projected next year is $12,433. That is based, it fluctuates based on the amount of inmates we have. If we had a decrease in the amount of population we have, it could be a lower cost. However, at times we do fluctuate up with the federal prisoners as they come in and we're housing those. You didn't, happy to answer any questions, or if Captain Carter has anything.
Thank you, guys. Questions? Comments?
I have one. What is the, is this just sheets that we're talking about?
Yes, just
Yes,
standard
yes.
white
Okay.
sheets, kind of like you would have at a hotel.
Okay. I move that we adopt these services for the detention center.
First by Mr. Lockridge,
Second.
second by Mr. John Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief. Captain. Our next item is request consideration of an engineering contract with Alliance Consulting Engineers for the Heritage Quarter Grant Project Under the Bridge. Ms. McCollum?
Mr. Mayor and Council, we would respectfully request to continue this item until our next meeting. We had some additional information we were requesting from the consulting engineers, and we weren't able to get all of our questions answered by this afternoon.
Thank you. Is council good with that? Thank you. With that, we'll move on to our fourth item, which is request consideration of a resolution authorizing the city to apply for a Municipal Association of South Carolina Hometown Economic Development Grant. Ms. McCollum?
Mr. Mayor and Council, this may sound a little bit like deja vu. Last year, the city applied for a municipal association grant under this particular program. We weren't successful, but fortunately, the municipal association is continuing this program. We have the opportunity to compete with other cities in the state, and the criteria fluctuate based upon your population. In this case, one of the requirements of the grant application is that we must ask your approval of our applying for the grant, and that's in the form of the resolution that's attached with your agenda item tonight. It also is a further commitment that shows the city of Anderson is willing to commit the appropriate match if we are successful in getting the grant. And based upon our population, we're required to match that with a 15% match, which is $3,750. As I said, you all did this last year, but it was for last year's grant cycle, so we're asking your blessing to approve our moving forward with the grant application. And what we're asking for in this grant application is a specific development plan that looks at blocks or areas, specific areas in the downtown that can be site-specific as to an appropriate type of land use going forward. And it's, I think, one of the best examples that we could give you of that type of a development plan is a long time ago in the city of Greenville. Before there was ever a baseball field there, they had the foresight to do a site-specific development plan, and someone had the foresight and vision to propose that a baseball field be put in that particular location in the West End. And once that was done, along with a lot of other plots of land and proposed uses, it gave the city a tool, specific tool, to be able to market, recruit, share with developers and people in the industry. And it was a very useful tool that proved to have a return on their investment. So that's the type of project that we're applying for, and we would wholeheartedly recommend your approval of our moving forward with the application, the resolution, and the match.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
Yeah, I think this is a very good project. I think we were discussing placement, different people coming to town to projects, and we had this information before. We would have more information as to what kind of projects we need to place where. So I think this information is very good as we move along with other developers coming in our city.
Mr. Mayor, I have one. Is this for any specific area?
It is for the downtown.
Just for the downtown?
Yes, sir.
Any other comments, questions?
When do they award?
Judging by what they have done in the past, we would expect to know something within 60 days.
Sounds pretty quick.
The deadline is the 29th, so the end of this week. And we're ready to go.
To understand that once you get the 25 and the 15% match, and I think you're saying it's $50,000 has to be a project for $50,000.
Well, that's our estimated cost, Dr. Thompson. Certainly, if we are successful, we would put this services, people, consultants who do this type of work, and would put that out for a request for qualifications or proposals and move forward in that fashion. So if we're successful one way or another, you will see this again on your agenda.
So the other would be the city's responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we accept this.
I second.
Proposal.
First by Dr. Thompson, a second by Mr. Lockridge. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I hope we get lucky this year and get awarded. If you remember last year, the city of West Pelzer and the city of Williamston won $25,000, and they're doing great things in both those cities, and hopefully we can keep it in Anderson County.
Great.
Our next item is request consideration to purchase vehicles for the police department. Ms. McCall?
As you all know, we have a capital equipment replacement fund, and it has always been our goal, even before we really had much money into that fund. Our goal within the police department has been to work toward the replacement of our fleet and work toward a goal of acquiring at least 10 new vehicles every year. We've been pretty successful at utilizing the equipment replacement fund for this purpose, and over the last about the last 3 years, we've been able to come pretty close, and in one case or another, through a combination of resources, we've been able to really meet that benchmark, particularly like in the 2015 year. What we're proposing for you to consider tonight is to use a little more than $300,000 to go toward the replacement of vehicles in the police department. And I'd ask Chief Stewart if he'll come back up to the podium and tell us the details about these vehicles and where they will go. Please bear in mind that in the replacement vehicles, we're not adding into the total number of our fleet. So we're taking those aged vehicles offline, and those that we take offline will go to our Gov Deals auction site. So we're not adding to our fleet, we're adding to the total fleet. We're replacing vehicles as we move along. Chief?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just go through briefly. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any point. You see under Section A for 9 state contract 2018 Dodge Chargers. Those again are the V6 high output. We were getting great gas mileage with those, around 17 or 18 miles a gallon at 29 on the highway. For city purposes, the V6 is working very well with us. You'll notice it is a state contract, but it's out of Clinton, North Carolina. We have a North Carolina dealership that got the state contract this year. And it's going to be the process in the capital equipment placement plan. We're going to have the vehicles put together and they'll be ready. So when they come to the city, all we'll have to do is put the vehicle on. The lowest bidder on that, we shipped it out to the 4 vendors you see. They're all throughout the state, and Tri-County and Holly Hill, South Carolina was the lowest vendor, and I have actually seen a vehicle that they have completed. It's very comparable to all these other vendors. I didn't see any shortcuts. They have a pretty good track record within the state right now, and they will work with the dealer at Performance Dodge in North Carolina. So they can deliver the vehicle to Holly Hill for us for a fee of $75, and the vehicle will be put together there, and then we'll pick it up there in Holly Hill. We'll just pay the one cost to Performance Dodge, and there wouldn't be a separate check cut for Tri-County. It's all in one enclosure. Along with that, we will go outside because we'll save more money to get the dash camera ourselves and not go through a vendor on that. So that's where you see the watch guard camera. Those are the cameras that we have been buying for patrol cars for quite some time. And it's also the cameras we just got, as 10 cameras awarded by the state. We're putting those in right now also. That was the bid of $2,030 per vehicle for that camera. You notice they are DVD, but right now the DVD is reliable, and it's a very trustworthy unit for us to put in the cars. That's getting to the point that we have about 30 new cameras being put in the cars. If there's no questions about the chargers, I'll move on to the next bit.
Chief, on the cameras, those are just dashboard cameras, or?
Yes, sir. And they are still required by law by the state. We did the 10 I spoke of, that's where we applied for the grant through the state. They did award us those, but in the past, as each time you have approved the purchase of a new vehicle, we put a new dash camera in that new vehicle. It's just been coming out of our budget instead of equipment replacement plan. So that's thankful we have that now.
Okay, thanks. Ms. Lovett?
Chief, is there any reason we're not going to digital versus staying with the DVD?
Well, the digital, as you see, is a very expensive cost. If you see Mobile Vision, we have had those cameras before, and those cameras are in some of our Crown Vics still, but they're the VCR technology. That cost was $4,611. The 10/8 video, we won one of those cameras through our South Carolina Law Enforcement Network. We tried it. It lasted about a year. Didn't prove to be very reliable and was...
Gotcha.
Thank you, Chief. Go ahead.
Section B, you'll see, is a Ford Interceptor. This is the same vehicle as what we purchased last year for the road. You'll see those two are out fully marked and on the road right now. This is a vehicle we needed to replace in the Criminal Investigative Division. And what we'd like to see is patrol is our backbone of our department, but we'd like to replace at least a vehicle here and there as we purchase cars over the year. The Interceptor is very handy, and it will provide a good tool for us in investigations of something different than what we already have. The bidder, again, the low bidder was Tri-County out of Holly Hill, and again, now that vehicle will be equipped with is lights and a siren.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
The last vehicle we have is a Dodge Ram extended cab. It's going to be a 4-door. It's considered an extended cab. It's also a 4-door. They're just small doors on the back. That was the lowest bidder for a vehicle like that, and that vehicle will be placed in our Special Operations Division as an unmarked vehicle for purposes. And it will be equipped also, West Chatham and Columbia was the low bidder on that one. It will be just equipped with lights and a siren.
Any questions for the Chief?
The funding again?
The funding is totally out of capital equipment replacement plan.
What's the average useful life of a patrol car? I know it probably varies depending on use, but what's our experience?
We usually run them till they get about 175,000 miles, and that's when we start having problems. Because in the city, it's not highway miles, it's constant stopping and starting, brake wear, engine wear, transmissions, radiators. It's just a whole plethora of mechanical issues that will start happening. And so far, the Charger, we still have our 2008 that we got. We were awarded through the DPS on that LEM grant. The 2008 Charger is still on the road.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Dr. Thompson?
The old cars that you put up for auction, do you know how much, anybody buying those cars?
Yes, ma'am. I'm really surprised, as we had one of the cars and I actually drove it from the PD over to the garage on its last journey, and I gave it some gas and it coughed. And I wasn't sure I was going to leak it. And I believe that car sold at auction for like $1,300, which I was amazed.
Mr. Harper?
How many vehicles, like cars, do we have in the police department?
Off the top of my head, I estimate about 129, because we do have 103 officers, but you have a lot of utility vehicles within detention, some of our SWAT vehicles, and we have quite a number of seized vehicles too that are not actually on the road, but we count them in our inventory.
So if we're able to do 10 a year, it's gonna take 10 years to replenish, give or take.
We may be able to do more than that. I just, you know, our goal was to get to 10 because we knew that way you're at least able to take 10 offline. And at some point, we'll be in a better position than we are today because of how we've been systematically replacing those. But yes, it's a never-ending cycle.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve it.
I want to ask you, Chief, if we have people on our staff who are able to service these cars and could carry them back to the Dodge people.
Yes, ma'am. If it's something under warranty, definitely we will carry it to the Dodge dealership here in Anderson. And there's no issues with that. And it saves us a cost of having to repair it. But the general maintenance, oil changes, fluid, tire service, the our shop does that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Our next item is request consideration of a design, bidding, and construction service contract for the Club Drive water line replacement project. Ms. McConnell?
Anytime you're in the utility business, as you all know, we have a master plan, and we set about implementing those plans and replacing some of our aging system. We have a water system master plan, and part of in that master plan is this particular project, which is the Club Drive area, and Utilities Director Jeff Caldwell will tell you the details about that.
Yeah, this project is, that we're asking for consideration for is directly from that water system master plan. It was originally developed in 2011. It was updated over the past year. And normally when we're looking at projects of this nature, we're looking at to meet one or with adequate fire protection. They either support economic development, or they provide for future growth, or they address customer complaints. This project will include portions of the Glenwood Avenue area, Laurel Avenue, Club Drive, Stark Street, and a portion of Jackson Street. There's about 4,800 linear feet of line total. This master plan, as you may remember, we've done projects in the Highway 28 bypass area to boost pressure, James Hunter Henry area, Cross Lindley Park in that Edgewood area also. There's one more, I'm trying to remember, Briarwood, College Avenue area. So this is just continuing that. This one moved up to the top when we did our updates. This consideration for the engineering approval of a proposal for the design, bidding, and the construction administration services for the project. The budget is $680,000 for the entire project, which includes a 20% contingency. And that's just a pre-design contingency that will probably move forward and lower to around 10% after design. Holsey McCormick Wallace was one of our firms selected through our request process, and to do some of our water system improvement projects. And so moving forward with this will help meet some of those goals, more specifically the water quality and fire protection goals in that area. And so we're asking for your approval of the lump sum project with Holsey McCormick Wallace in the amount of $60,000.
And that's in our budget.
Thank you, Jeff.
In the
Yes.
budget.
How old?
Yes.
I think they're in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Stewart?
Just kind of refresh me. several years ago, didn't we come up with a list of qualifications of, like, when we get ready to do engineering work, where you had 3 or 4 people that we go to for sewer, 3 or 4 people we went to for water? Is this one of the firms that were selected 3 or 4 years ago?
3 years ago, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay.
I'd like to move that we adopt this request for preliminary design at, for the Club Drive area water improvement project.
So first
And construction.
Ms. Lockridge, second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Any further discussion?
Well, question.
Yes, sir.
Have we done work with them before?
Yes, they recently completed the Franklin Street. That's the other
Franklin
project we
Street.
completed through this process too, Franklin Street.
And didn't have any issues with them?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion, comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Jeff.
Those folks will appreciate that.
Our next item is request consideration of a referral to the Planning Commission, a petition to rezone 1226 Springdale Road from R15, single-family residential, to RM18, multifamily residential. Ms. McConnell?
As you all know, when you have a referral to the Planning Commission for a rezoning request, that is the beginning of our public hearing process. And this will be heard before your Planning Commission on October the 3rd. Planning and Development Director Maurice McKenzie will share some additional details with you.
The applicant in this particular request is Anderson University, and they're requesting to rezone 1226 Springdale from R15 to RM18 in order to convert the single-family dwelling into their business office. And the university's actually owned the property for about 20 years, and during that time they've used the house for housing students, 3 or 4 students at a time, but now they are looking to do some different things and convert the single-family house into their business office. And since R15 single-family residential does not allow for office uses, they wish to rezone it, and RM18 seems to be the most logical classification just because it does allow for any type of university use, and their main campus, which abuts this property to the rear, is also zoned RM18 multifamily residential. And for a parcel this size, RM18 does allow for a few other uses, mainly duplexes, residential daycare, things of that nature. So there are a few other things in addition to university-related uses. Last Tuesday to be exact, Anderson University did host a neighborhood meeting to provide information to residents of the area. About 4 people from the neighborhood showed up to that meeting, so a few people did hear what their plans are. And as Ms. McConnell mentioned, this is a referral, so it does begin the public process, scheduled to go before the Planning Commission on October 3rd, and then it'll come back to you based on our current schedule on October 9th.
Thank you. Any comments, questions for Ms. McKenzie?
Make a motion to refer to the Planning Commission.
Have a first by Mr. Stewart. Second by Mr. Lockridge. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Referral to the Planning Commission. Our next request is consideration of an appointment to the Planning Commission. Ms. McConnell?
Mr. Mayor and Council, we are so fortunate to have citizens who are willing to serve in a volunteer capacity on all of our boards and commissions, and certainly the Planning Commission is one of those that meets on a regular basis. We do have a vacancy on the Planning Commission, and according to the bylaws, each city council member has an opportunity to appoint a representative to the commission. The members do not necessarily have to live in that particular seat, but you must be a city resident. And the current position is Mr. Stewart's appointment. He recommends Herbert Irvin. We know Mr. Irvin. He's at 709 Salem Street, and he's certainly willing to serve on the Planning Commission. We believe he would be an excellent member. He's active in the Eastside Concerned Citizens Group, and he was a former employee in our building department. we've given you his application as a reference, and we certainly recommend his appointment to the Planning Commission.
I'd just like to add,
Stewart.
I'd just like to add, I think, Herbert, being a former member of our building department, you know, for many years, he's seen all of our neighborhoods throughout the city, and he knows how important the integrity of all of our neighborhoods are, and making sure that we maintain the integrity of our neighborhoods, and I think he would be an excellent appointment.
I think so too. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Fine, go ahead.
I know Mr. Earle for a long time. He's a hard worker in our community, and I would move that we appoint Mr. Earle to our planning commission.
First. Second. I have a second by Mr. Roberts. Mr. Roberts?
I was just gonna concur with everyone's statements.
He'd be a good asset to it.
No doubt. Pop Herbert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. We appreciate, as Mr. McConnell said, the service that we get for our cities and all our commissions and boards. Our last item of new business is a request consideration of an ordinance regarding the sale of city-owned property located at 129 East Whitney Street. Ms. McConnell?
Mr. Mayor and Council, we have the ordinance attached, which explains and the contract as well, which explains the contract to sell 129 East Whitney Street to Peach Properties. Frankie McLean, as our city attorney, can tell you the details of that contract, and all of the things that we have specifically talked about previously in regard to this contract are included within that. So unless you have specific other information or other details or questions about this, we did provide the opportunity to go into executive session should you desire to do so, but the staff is content that all of the things that you've previously mentioned are included in this contract, and I'll ask Mr. McLean to share those details.
This contract basically has the terms that was offered by Peach Properties that y'all voted on at the last meeting. I added a few on our first right of refusal to make sure that if they ever sold in the future, we'd have the right to buy it back. In addition to that provision, that if they didn't get somebody in there within 18 months, we would have the option to buy it in that case. But basically, it's the terms that were presented that you had previously indicated you were agreeable to.
Questions?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stewart, question?
Just have a couple of questions. In the contract, I know, Frankie, you had mentioned that in the event they don't occupy the building within 18 months, I think it says if it's not occupied by a going business. Now, are we talking about the business of Groucho's Deli? And because if they come up with another business, say Groucho's go out the door.
I just put that in there in case something did happen. They have a signed memorandum of understanding with Groucho's, and our anticipation is they're going in shortly.
But I understand.
I just put that in case that didn't happen.
If that didn't happen,
Yeah.
do they have the ability to bring in another business, or will it revert back to us to make that? Because I think a lot of our decision, and I may be wrong, from what I heard, the council's decision was Groucho's Deli, great, that's what we were looking at. Well, if that doesn't come to case, maybe the next going business may not be what is desired there. And do they have that flexibility to put whoever they want to go in there without coming back to us?
Well, I use the term going business, which I would assume that that's what they would do. And we're expecting Groucho's to go in, and they are too. That was just something I put in, just in case something didn't go in, and to prevent them from just sitting on it.
Well, you know,
and I don't think they will. I think Groucho's going to be in there, but this is a pretty reputable company that I don't think would put anything in there that wouldn't be something that would be like Groucho.
Yeah, I understand it. I'm just saying, you know, Groucho's for what was brought out. You know, if there's anything different than that, does it revert back to us? Or yes or no?
We're selling it to them. They're going to own it.
So we're selling it to
And that was what
them
they
with the
did.
thought of Groucho's Deli going in there, but it could be something that could be less desirable than that they could put in there. If, that's a reality, it could happen.
Yeah, theoretically, that could happen.
And then, the other question I had is that, the first right of refusal, and I'm just, when we talked about other contracts, we had the first right, when we talked about first right of refusals, we said that within the first so many years, we would buy it back at what we purchased, and then if, within, like Grace's Church, for example, if they made improvements, and then for it's like a 10% penalty. That's not the case in this here. With whatever improvements from day one, we have to, they won't be penalized.
On Grace Church, that was the enforceability of provisions we had in there.
So you wouldn't want to put
paying the thing if they forfeited.
You wouldn't want to.
That's a different situation. This is a straight sale. They're going to own it and pay taxes on it.
But in our first right of refusal, if they ever left, we would have to buy that building back. Plus,
we wouldn't have to.
Well, we would have the right.
We'd have the right. We'd have the right to buy it back for 20 years.
Plus whatever improvements they make.
This is the same thing that we did when we sold to Furman, the other building. This is what we did. Put the same provision in years when we did with Furman. If they sell to somebody else for 20 years, we would have the first right of refusal of a bona fide offer.
Plus all the improvements that were made at that time.
Yeah. Well, no. First right of refusal is if they're going to sell it to somebody else, and somebody else is going to give them $200,000 in it, then we come in and say, we'll give them $200,000. That's what a first right of refusal is, and that's the same thing we did with Furman.
It just says right here, it says, said right to be accessed within 15 days of notification of a bona fide offer to purchase. Seller shall also retain the right to option to repurchase at the sales price plus any cost of improvements in the event the subject property is not occupied.
By going bid.
So we would be.
Those are two different things.
Okay. So we'll be buying it back plus whatever improvement.
We'd have the option to do that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
In either case, yeah.
And you still have that option should Earle Furman decide to sell their building, so those two things are the same.
You okay? Okay. Anything else?
What do we need for this?
Ma'am?
What do we need for this?
Just a vote. It's a first reading.
Correct. First reading of the
Approve
ordinance.
this on the first reading.
No, first by Dr. Thompson. Second by Mr. Horgan. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It passes with one opposition. Upcoming events, Ms. McConnell.
We're nearing the end of September, and we do have a Southeast Anderson Task Force meeting tomorrow night. This is a rescheduled date. It's not the usual meeting night. This will be at 5:30 p.m. at the Hannah Westside Career Campus. In the month, to get us started in the month of October, we have the ABC community group meeting on Tuesday, October the 3rd at 5:30 at Taylor Memorial. And also, please mark your calendars for Tuesday, October the 3rd for our own city event, Fresh Taste. Happens that evening from 6 to 9 p.m. in Carolina Wren Park. So we have more vendors and this year than in the past, and musical entertainment, and it promises to be a good evening. I would like to mention one other thing on the calendar. It's not for this month or next month, but in November we've had interest from citizens about the Veterans Parade. And you will remember that last year, the group that normally put on the Veterans Parade was unable to do so last year. And our own Fire Chief Randy Bratcher came to the aid and rallied the troops. And the Veterans Parade went on without a hitch last year very successfully. Randy and his group are once again spearheading that effort for the 2017 Veterans Parade, which is scheduled for Sunday, November the 5th at 3 p.m. So I think we certainly all recognize the importance of those who've served in our military and use this as an opportunity to recognize that important achievement.
When you say Chief Bratcher's group, it's just a volunteer group of people?
It's a volunteer group that he's heading up, but I think a lot of our firefighters are part of that, so yes. And Chief's wife Miriam is part of that. She's assisting with this as well. So certainly it's a group effort, but we're thankful that the chief has taken this lead role.
Good.
We have a Recreation Committee meeting next Thursday as well.
We do.
This Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday. Sorry.
That will be at 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Meeting will be at 12 o'clock, yes, sir.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First by Mr. Kyle Newton.
Second.
Second by Mr. Matt Harville. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
Mr. Mayor?
I need to show you some.
Still.